Hello everyone, this is a review of my 2002 Yz426. I've bought the bike used in 2008. The bike was all stock, even the graphics, the seat cover, everything was stock on the bike. 1 year after I bought the bike, I've only used it, changed the oil and the coolant. Other than that, I had done nothing to the bike. I've ridden it 1 year, and after 1 year, somewhere in October 2009, I've started to change parts, add parts, but the motor is all original. I've not changed the piston, the crank, the gearbox. All of those components are original or stock. I've adjusted the valves. This is the third time that I've adjusted the valve since I have the bike. Other than that, regular oil changes and yeah, brake pads like brake rotors and chain sprockets. You know, that's kind of a wear item, and I've changed those. But other than that, the engine is all original from how I bought the bike. Now it has somewhere, it has 243 hours, but the trail tech hour meter and tachometer I've installed only in 2016. So until then I didn't know exactly how many hours the bike had and how many hours I've done with the bike since I've installed the hour meter. But since 2016 until now, there are 243 hours that I've rode the bike. There are a lot of components that I've changed and added, like talon hubs, front and rear, super sprocks stealth sprocket. It has a 46 tooth, in the front is a 13 tooth from a rental. The chain is also from rental, and it's a non-o-ring chain. I've chose to use this type of chain because it's very light compared to one with o-ring or X-ring, but for what I do, it's very good. Yes, it stretches a bit more than the o-ring ones or the X-ring ones, but it's okay. It's not something that you have to say, oh man, it's a disaster chain, we have to throw it away. No, it's a good chain as long as you keep an eye of the tension, and when you see that it's out of limit and it stretch too far, then it's better to change it. I should start from, I've already started from the back, but now I will start from the front and show you what components I've added to the bike. Like I said earlier, front and rear hubs are from Talon. The front rotor is a 270mm golfer with adapter from the adapter is from Goldfriend. The stopping power is very good. I am very pleased with the brake setup from the front. It's very good, the braking, and other than changing the disc and the relocating bracket, I've also changed the braking hose with the steel one, braided steel, stainless steel one. It's from Van Hill, and I've rerouted the brake hose somewhere from like the newer models from 2005 and up, and also you find this setup on the CR models, CRFs Honda. Also the brake line is for 2003 CRF 450. Also it works best on this bike, it fits. And also the front master cylinder I've also changed with the 2001 CR250, because it's also much better than the original one, than the seen original one. The front suspension, I've changed only the springs. I've added one number stiffer for the front springs, and the oil level is standard. It's not too much or too low. It's standard the oil level. The triple clamps are the original triple clamps, but I've grounded that factory molding piece. I've grounded it down and powder coated the triple clamps, as you can see in black, and also added some razors, bar razors. I think they are 35 millimeters, and for what I do they are very good. I like them. The handlebar is a pro taper, and the band is Chad Reed and Doug Henry. That's the band. I have another motorcycle, KTM. I'll also make a review on that one. And on that bike I've bought brand new rental bar, fat bar, and my original pro taper bar pad was very old and very destroyed, I can say, and I've thrown it away and put this rental from the other bike, because on that one I have the original KTM plastic one that's very little. These are maybe there is one single item, or items I should say, that I'm not very pleased that I've changed, and those are the levers, the clutch lever and the front braking lever. um, it would be better if I have kept the original ones, because these things, I don't know if all of them not made are made like this, but they are so square in the edges, and if you try to release the clutch, it's very difficult sometimes, because it hangs on the hand shoes. And this is maybe the only thing that I regret I've changed, and I should have left the original ones. So if you're very picky on the controls, like the front brake and the clutch lever, my advice, leave the original ones, because other than to regret it, it's better to stay with the stock ones. Like I've said, in 2006 I've installed the Trail Tech Tach hour meter. It also registers the hours of running and also the engine RPM. It's very good. I've not changed since then the battery. I saw 2 or 3 years like this model that only lasted 2 or 3 years, and after that the battery was gone. This one, believe me, I have not touched it since, and it runs perfect. Other than that, this is a DRC or Zeta product, aluminum anodized nut. Also the fork bleeders are also from DRC. In 2009 I have made this hot start device. I have not bought it, I've made it from someone that has a drilling company and have made it for me. It's not the nicest one, but it functions very well, and maybe I will change it in the future, but maybe not, I don't know, because it doesn't bother me. For such a long time I've kept this thing, and it works great. Other than that, the grips are the third sets of grips since I have the bike, because the previous one I've torn down, and these are I've installed this set of grips, I believe, this year, so they are still new, but I think in 2 years maximum I will throw them away, because I will destroy them. Other than that, for the front part, the original how should I say, the original um, triple clamp bearings are original. I've only every year I disassemble the triple clamps, clean the bearings, grease them, and put everything back together. Until now I have not changed the bearings for the triple clamp, not the upper, no, near the, not the lower one. They are original, both of them, and it's still in great condition. I've added to the fork some fork protectors, but honestly, if you let them be long, but until here down, or let them short, it's the same. Over the years I found out that even you can protect the forks and the fork seals however you want, but the age and the plastic and the rubber part um, of the seals will get brittle, will get aged, and they will eventually leak. So no matter how you clean them, how you protect them, after a few years they will leak. So that's something that you have to take in consideration. Also in the front I have a service for 2003 and up, the newer models, but on the front hub it matched perfect, because the spacers for the hubs are very good, and they can adapt to this front disc guard. Maybe in the future I will also change this bracket, because it is the original one from Yamaha and it was put here, so I relocated it, drilled 2 holes, and fixed it in position, and I've tried to uh, put some carbon fiber sticker on it, but it's not something that looks pretty good and doesn't also last. So I will exchange the part with anodized aluminum part in the near future for sure. The radiators, the front and lower tanks are original, but the inner core I have changed in 2012, because I didn't like how it cooled the bike. I've changed only the inner core. As you can see, it's welded all the way, and it has larger fins, so the coolant flow is much better. Also in the summer, it's keeping the bike cool for a long period of time, and it's very good. It's very good for my conditions, from where I rode the bike. It's very good. I've also changed the coolant hoses. Also added tusk water temperature. Now it has cooled down a bit. Normally when I rode the bike, the temperature stays somewhere between 110, 120, 130, somewhere there in the winter time. In the summer it runs a little bit hotter, somewhere 150, somewhere like that. But from what I saw over the years, this type of temperature for these bikes is good. Okay, if you go over 150, yeah, then it could be a problem. But if you stay in that range, it's very okay for the bike, for the oil that it's getting hot, and it cleans itself, cleans all the moisture from the oil, and the lubricity is okay. Also the bike I've changed in 2010 the gas tank. Was the original one with the plastic, but I've broken it, and from what I saw on the internet, many had this problem with the tank. Under the seat, where it connects to the seat and the frame, it develops a crack, and no matter how you try to seal it, I've tried with RTV, with silicones, with all kinds of stuff. I've even tried it. I've took the reservoir, the tank. I've took it to a friend that melted the plastic from the sides, and filled the hole. From what I saw, that was the single method that uh, managed to stay intact somewhere about 2 months. After 2 months it cracked again. So my advice, if you have the original tank and you have that problem here under the seat in this area, my best advice is, if you can, try to search to buy a new not a new one, because you can I don't know if you can find it anymore, a new one, but a well used aluminum tank, and you will never have that problem, never again. When I've changed the reservoir, the tank, I've put not save the graphics from it, because they were very disintegrated, because also the graphics I've installed in 2009 2010, and after that, when I wanted to change the reservoir and put the old graphic on this tank, and I couldn't salvage it, and unfortunately I didn't find anywhere that this type of graphic to match it. So in the near future I think I will change the entire graphics of the bike, because after so many years I think she deserves it. Like I said, there are so many years that I've installed these graphics, and until now they have kept very good. They are old, yes, I know, but they are okay. So I think I will change the graphics in the near future. If we go on, the cylinder head cover I've also painted in blue. It's powder coated. It's not paint. It's powder coating. On the exhaust side, I've put a power bomb header, and I've attached an Akrapovic original exhaust for this bike. I've also added the front header for this Akrapovic, but I've had so many problems with the sealing here in the front, because it didn't seal well. The Here on the area where it connects to the exhaust with the second exhaust, I had some problems. It didn't seal there as well. I've tried with some paste that goes on the exhaust on cars, but from the vibration it didn't work out. So sometimes in some year I've managed to buy this FMF header, and I've made it this reduction to fit it, and since then I've not had any problems with the bike. I've from when I've uh, made the carburetor, and I've set the carburetor to the perfect mixture and so on, I've never had a problem with the mixture again, because it seals very well here on the front, and also here on where it connects to the exhaust port, to the exhaust. It connects very well, and I have no leaks whatsoever. Other than that, I've installed this Boyson super cooler that I've bought from Rocky Mountain with the impeller, and man, it's the flow on it, it's very good. It's very good. I'm very pleased. Also installed on Ready Racing. This old cover was from the I think from the one from the first modification that I've done to the bike. So this is one that started the whole thing on the bike, with the modifications, all the adding parts and so on. And the cover was black when I bought it, with another anodized black, but from the age, from the heat, as you can see, it turned some kind of goldish color. The clutch cover Pro Circuit, I've bought also new from many of these parts were bought from either from Rocky Mountain, atvmc.com, either from eBay, some of them were bought used. I've didn't found to buy some of these parts new, so I have to buy them used but in good condition. The things that I bought used was the power bomb from this section, the carburetor also is from a 2005 YZ450, and from what I can tell, it's one of the best mods I have done for this bike, because other than getting the mixture as perfect as possible, it also has the settings much uh, better than the original one. So from what I see, this carburetor for this old type of bike, it's well worth it. Yeah, this is a used part from eBay. The frame guards, I also want maybe this year in the winter or next year, I will turn the bike completely apart and restore it from head to toe. I will repaint the frame because it has the original color, and here on the side where the boots contact the frame, they are very shaped up, very used, and that's why I've added the frame protector, and also added this carbon fiber protector. But when I will repaint the frame, I will remove the plastic one and leave only the carbon fiber ones. The AST performance brake lever is one of the things that I've also changed on the bike. What can I say? It's a good modification, but it's not something that from my experience and from what I've seen, something that you really need, at least in my situation. The knob that you put your boots to engage the pedal, it's a bit wide on this model, and sometimes if I'm not careful, I can accidentally push on the rear brake pedal, and it's jerking the bike. It's stopping the bike all of a sudden, and it's not okay. So this is maybe one of the things that I've maybe let it stay original, because other than that, yeah, it's nice looking, it's trick, it's something else, but it's not something that wow, you cannot live without it. Also in the back, I have this hammerhead adjustment, and the rear master cylinder I've also changed because the reservoir that is attached to the subframe has cracked. I bought another reservoir, cracked as well, and I said I have enough of it, because both times they cracked when I was gone. And there are cases when you really need the rear brake, and all of a sudden you realize you don't have it. So I said it's okay, I have enough. I've replaced it with the YZ450 from 2005, and since then I had no problem. Also the braking force is much greater, and I really like it. On the frame, it bolts right up, no problem. You don't have to modify nothing other than this part here. If you have the stock one, the YZ450 has a smaller thread. I think it's M6. The original YZ426 and the 400 has an M8, so a thicker. Either you change the axle, the thread axle, or you modify your bracket. Either one, but other than that, on the frame and on the braking line, it matches perfect, no problem. So you can change it if you want on your bike. That it's something with no problem. Like I said, the exhaust is the original Krapovic for this bike. It's a bit loud. I've repacked the muffler until now 3 or 4 times, if I remember correctly, and it's very good when you start to hear the exhaust running a bit, as it's starting to getting very loud, then you know you have to repack it, because the material from the inside it has deteriorated or it has destroyed, and you have to replace it, because even the bike, although it sounds louder, it doesn't run as well, and it's as when it's a bit quieter. This is from what I saw, and that's why when I immediately I changed the packaging somewhere around 50-70 hours, somewhere in that range, not sooner not later, somewhere in that range. The front tire is an Dunlop Geomax MX51. I've bought that tire last year in December, and I've installed it this year in January, in the first month of the year, and it's very good. This is the third tire I'm using from this brand, this model, because I'm very pleased. It's very good for the trail that I'm riding, for the stuff that I'm doing with the bike. It's perfect. In the back, it's also Dunlop Geomax MX52. This tire, I've put it last year, and I've ridden the bike very little. I've also flipped the tire over, because as you can see, this side is a bit worn and the front is a bit notchier. So this tire has already 1 year of use, but it's still good. I've also used in the past the golden tires, the Michelin Starcross, but Pirelli also were good tires from what I've used in. But I think I will remain with Dunlop, because until now they are the only ones that I liked how they perform in various conditions. Maybe of you have different opinions, I don't know, but for me they work perfect. On the back I have a Golfer rotor. This rotor I've also changed when I've changed the front one, because until then I've the original brake setup and rotors from the original factory from the bike, and I've changed them, and I can only say it's a big improvement. Also with the master cylinder that I've changed in the front and in the rear. But the biggest difference I feel in the rotors themselves. The material that they use is very good. The wear pattern is also very good on them. But only the things that I kept stock on the bike are the brake pads, front and rear. I didn't change to organic, to semi-metallic. I've kept the original ones, and they are okay. Yes, I've changed. These are the third brake shoes on the rear, and on the front those are the third or the fourth brake pads. Also here on the back, on the caliper, I've added this carbon fiber guard. The original one I've broke it a few years ago, and I've put a new one from carbon fiber. The rims, also front and back, are DIP Dirt Star rims. Very good rims. The original ones. All the things that you have seen in this video, all the parts that I've changed on the bike, either I've kept them or I've sold them, but most of the parts are sold. I have some of them, but there are very few parts are remaining, but I'm planning to sell them as well, because I realize I will not need them anymore, because I will not change back to the parts that were. Either I will get something better, but an original I will not go back. For the original ones I will not go back. Other than that, I've missed today. I've lost the screw here from the chain guide. Also, the chain guide is very good. I've had the original one. I've changed on the original one two plastic guides from the original one, the aluminum one. I've changed two plastic ones, but this one, the service is very durable. I've had this one for approximately 7 years, and as you can see, it has some marks, it has some wear, but it's keeping very good. And it's had some rocks at it, it had some it has gone to some war until now, but it's holding up very good. The chain setup and sprockets that I have, some of you may think, oh, it's too tall, it's too or too short. No, it's, from what I'm doing, it's very good, because I am riding also tight stuff. As you can see, I'm riding tight stuff, but I'm also riding open fields and so on, and I need some speed to the bike, because other than that I will go too slow, and it's not okay. So I need some speed to the bike, and this setup helps me to achieve that. Also, in the first and the second gear, in the forest, in the trails, it's no problem. From what I'm doing, for where I'm going, it's no problem. So it's not too tall, it's not too short of a gearing. It's exactly how I want it. Saying this side of as well, it has the plastic frame guards, the carbon fiber ones. Like I've told you, when I will paint the frame, I will remove the plastic ones and keep only the carbon fiber ones. The shock, once a year I change the oil in the rear shock and in the front suspension, because the oil disintegrates. The disintegrate is not so much, but it burns out, it gets contaminated, and every year when I change the oil and add nitrogen pressure. By the way, I'm using 160 psi on the nitrogen gas, and it's working perfect for me. So I haven't changed the seals from the shock from when I've got the bike. So the original on the bike, I've not changed, only the oil, and also the the spring. The spring is also from Este. This is the producer, and it's 2 numbers stiffer than the original one. It's 2 numbers stiffer than the original one, and I've set the sag on the bike, and it's perfect for my weight and how I ride the bike. It's perfect. Also, you have to take in consideration this type of bikes were very heavy, and sometimes even if you add parts to them, you make them heavier. So from what I saw, even if maybe some of the professionals told me, man, you should have taken only 1 number stiffer, but these 2 numbers stiffer on the spring, it helps me to use the spring in a wide conditions. So for me, from my experience, it's very good. It's very good. I am glad I've chosen to buy 1 spring that it's stiffer, then buy 2 springs to achieve that exact same performance. So from my opinion, it's well worth it. The bearings from the linkage I've also changed. These are the second set of bearings, because the first one, the original ones, I've used the bike, it was okay, and after that in 2013 dismantled everything to grease it, and then I saw that it has play in the linkage. Although the bearings were okay, but it had it has play in the linkage. So I said, okay, it's time to replace the whole things, the entire set, put new ones, with bushings, with seals, everything. And until then I've not changed. So this is the second bearing set on the linkage. On the swing arm, believe me, it's the original one. I've only cleaned it, greased it, and it's perfect. No play, nothing. It works perfect. The foot pegs are very sharp. I bought this also brand new. Are very sharp, and man, if you're not careful, even when you not have boots on the feet, you must be very careful, because these things are very sharp and you can easily puncture yourself. Like I said, the carburetor is from 2005. I've relocated the hot start on my bike. As you can see, I have here the hot start, and on the other part I have the decompression lever. Although on the bike I've installed hot cams, auto decompression cam, excuse me, I've kept the manual decompression, because when I let the bike sit for somewhere, if I let the bike somewhere within 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and before I want to start the bike, I pull the manual decompression and spin the motor 5 or 6 times over, and after that I try to kick the bike to start it. I've done that since when I had the bike, from 2008 till now. I've only added this mod, this hot cams camshaft, only in 2012. So since then till now, it doesn't bother me. I'm very pleased how it functions, how it runs, how it performs. Maybe I don't know, but in the future maybe I will change also the intake camshaft, also with a hot cams one. But honestly, for the power that the bike is making as it is, it's what I need. It's not something that I need more. It's something that it's okay. It's okay for my needs. It's very okay. Also on the bike, I've added this Pro Circuit ignition cover, very good as well. I have also an carbon fiber ignition cover at home, which I keep as a spare part. I don't know if I ever want to send that part, because I've tried to search on the internet and I couldn't find it anymore. So I think I will keep that one for safety measures. It's also that type of cover. I think it's from factory stuff, because it did not have these 2 plugs for the ignition timing to see on the rotor. So it's a complete sealed cover. Maybe you guys know better. Also, what I have added on the bike is the carbon fiber motor mounts. The lower one and the upper one, it's also carbon fiber. These are also I've bought them from eBay used, because new I couldn't find them anymore, along with the chain guide, chain guide, this protection for the cases. So these 3 parts were from the same seller, and this sprocket cover was for 2003 and newer YZ450 250. It bolted right on, but this one I bought it new, this one. So other than that, and the motor mounts are bought second hand from eBay. The venting hoses from the carburetor, I've tucked them on the airbox, because from what I saw over the time, they do not collect so much dust in the carburetor. I've tried it and I've seen it works, so I will let them be as it is, because if I let the hose stay down, they will collect dust because they have to make vacuum to let the carburetor breathe and so on. And all of a sudden sometimes they take a bit of dust, and it collects on the bottom of the carburetor. Although on the bottom of the carburetor I've also put this is a deeper sunk plug, and believe it or not, there are deposits somewhere. One in the month or 2 times in the month I remove it and clean it, because there are some deposits. As little as they are, there are some deposits on the base. The fuel screw, the pilot's fuel screw, is also in Scar model brand, Scar brand. The timing chain tensioner is a manual one. It's from APE. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. The original one I have the timing chain, but I didn't want to risk it because I saw many had the problem that the timing chain backed up and destroyed the engine. So I didn't want to take the chance and bought this manual cam chain timing tensioner and installed it, set it as it should, conform to the setting chapter, and the bike runs well. So since then I've not had any problem, either if I rev the bike or not. I'm confident it will not back up. Other than that, I have the RFX shifting lever, and also the thing that I've also added to the bike was this outsider skid plate. It has the 3mm thickness, and it's very good. It's very good because it protects the entire frame of the bike, as you can see, and it's very good. Another thing that I want to mention that I've added to the bike, and this is only for about 5 years ago, I've added this mod. It's a mod, yes. I've added a thermostat to the bike because in the winter, what I saw, the bike, when you go in open field, the temperature in my case stays below 100, and that is not okay because the engine doesn't reach full operating temperature, and that is not okay. So what I found, I saw on the internet many of used different types of thermostats from other motorcycles, from sport bikes, from who knows what. So I've managed to find a thermostat that opens at 75 degrees Celsius. I'm talking in Celsius now. That opens at 75 degrees Celsius, and it works very good. As you can see here, I will try to make you the serial number to see if you want to search for this type of thermostat, you can search. But if I cannot focus the camera to take the code, I will write it down in the description so you can find it on the internet. You don't have to modify the hoses, they will fit perfect. And then the thermostat in my case was only $10, so it's not expensive. It was brand new and it works well. I will keep the thermostat on the bike until the summer will arrive, because in the summer maybe I will take it apart, I will take it down. But believe me, last year I've ridden the bike also in the summertime with the thermostat on, and maybe you believe me, maybe or not, but the thermostat, if you don't stay in one place to overheat the engine, it does a very good job on keeping the engine all the time at operating temperature. And also the radiators, if you go in the how should I say, in the speed lines. If you take in fifth gear or fourth gear on open fields, it helps the radiators cool down much more faster, because the coolant flow is not so big from the engine to the radiators, and the radiators sometimes they are closed from the engine and manage to cool down much quicker and faster and better than if you have the open circuit without the thermostat. So I think maybe I will take it out in the summer, or maybe I will let it on, because last year, like I've said, I've let it on and it worked perfect. The bike was okay. It's so I cannot say it's very good. It's a very good thing if you add that to this bike, especially in the autumn, especially in the winter. If you're riding the bike, it's something you have to take in consideration, because first of all, you're protecting the engine, and also the engine will run much better. The combustion chamber will stay on the operating temperature. The oil will get hot and will evaporize all the moisture in it, so the oil will last longer. From my opinion, if you can add this thing even to a YZ400 model, do it. From my opinion, from my recommendation, because until now I didn't had any problems. I did not blow the head gasket or things like other ones think or are afraid of. I had no problem with that item. So I will let in the description, I will let the code from the thermostat, and you can search it on internet, buy one of it and try it, and believe me, you will not be disappointed, because it's an item that I want to recognize, because some items you do need them, and some items you can live also without them, because they are not something that, wow, I cannot live with that item. But this thermostat really does an excellent job for what is intended to be used. So from my opinion, it's well worth it. Other than that, this is the bike. I've told you, I've had it for so many years. I've changed a lot of parts. I've sold a lot of parts. I have some of them, but in the near future, I want to change the graphic kit to make it look better. Other than that, I think I will paint the frame and do some small things like improving them. But other than that, from my point of view, it's a bike that, if you know how to take care of it, and you know how to explore it and change and make regular changes of oil, and keep up the chains, the sprockets, and the wear, the suspension as well, if you change the oil, change the springs if you need to. Yes, maybe for some of you, the valving on the forks or in the shock maybe is a must, but I repeat, for what I'm doing, only changing the springs front and rear helped me a lot on balancing the bike, on adjusting the bike the way I wanted. Other than that, if you have any questions, please leave them down below, and I try to answer them. If you want some opinions, from some other opinions that I didn't mention in this video, please feel free to write and ask me, and from what I know and what I learned, I will gladly help you. Other than that, please excuse me my poor English. I know I'm not very well in explaining the technical stuff so well, but in the near future I try to do my best and try to improve, because every time you do something, there is always room for improvements. So also in the near future, maybe I will make also a video with my other bike that I bought only in 2019. It's a 2006 KTM LC4 625 SMC Supermoto. I've bought it in 2019, and I wished I would have bought that bike sooner, but you know, this is how life is. You don't have to, you cannot change it anymore. You cannot go back in the past and change it. This is the life. It's a great bike also. I'm very happy with it. I'm very pleased with it. I've also made it not some, but very few mods to the bike only, and it runs very well. I will make also in the near future a video with that bike, and until then, what can I say? For those of you that like this type of motorcycles, the YZ400, YZ426 from 2000, 2002, and also the newer ones, the 450 from 2003 and up, from Yamaha, in my opinion, until 2009, until 2009, these bikes from 98 to 2009, from my experience, from what I've saw, from what I've ridden, these are the best bikes built ever from Yamaha. The newer ones, I'm not saying they are terrible, but there are a lot of electronics, there are a lot of things that can go wrong, and I don't know, if you want something to have a pleasure of riding it and not have any concerns, any thoughts, any regrets, from my opinion, the older ones are the best ones. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for understanding my sloppy English. Wish you all the best. All the best. Bye guys.